I'm talking about.
Once again, good scene, guys. A scene that wasn't even really cool as an action scene, in order to really tell you any more about the plot other than, oh no, the building shook. Whatever. In any case, kind of in a similar vein to Mission 15, we have yet another find items here to progress Sugar Me Do. This one being find 2 Sun and Moon tokens to progress onwards. Except comparatively to the previous Mission 15, which was arduous and fucking meaningless, this one at the very least does at least have a cool boss fight at the end of it, so it's something. We also get some character interaction, counterintuitively to, you know, that cutscene where Dante flickered in between his Devil Trigger state and that pretty much being that. Well, I mean, again, I suppose I should just sort of count my blessings and say one thing at the very least. It does give people a chance to look at, you know... Fuck, I forgot what the guy's name was. Atlas Man's Devil Trigger designed for Dante. By the way, that was Wild Stomp. I told you I'd show it off. Took me several parts, but got there in the end. But yeah, sadly, you can't exactly Wild Stomp everything, like these fucking Eye Archer dudes, so... Yeah, that's pretty much the end of it. In the meantime, though, yeah, you might remember where we are at this case. Pretty much the bottom rung, where we pretty much need to activate those 2 switches, lower those, you know, 2 little boulders, pendulums, balls. Excuse me. And yeah, by the time we get them to clash together, break apart, yeah, then we get our sweet little reward. Of course, not without a bit of combat to pad out the runtime, because why introduce more interesting enemies when you can just throw the same basic pish enemy fodder that we've been facing thus far? Yeah, I mean, Jesus, I mean, at the very least, Devil May Cry 1 of the, you know, at the very least introduced a bit more enemies to... whatever. I'm trying to curb my complaints, if you couldn't tell. Not that I'm doing a very good job, but... I don't know. I mean, again, I do at least try and pepper in a few of the new enemies here and there, but I don't really know. I mean, part of the reason why I do find this section of the, you know, levels 14 through 17 to be a little bit more boring than in fact they should be is just... I think it's primarily just down to the fact that there's just not much of anything interesting going on, and we're just... I don't know. I mean, I kind of brought it up in passing before, but I can't tell whether or not this is just part of the... you know, you pretty much utilize your game development budget, you know, mostly at the beginning and at the end, so that you can ensure that, you know, your overall game is as good as it could possibly be. Not necessarily budget, I mean in terms of development experience. Or at least, yeah, that sounds about right. But yeah, so at least that way the beginning and end of your game will at least be the best it can possibly be, with the regular gameplay loop hopefully sustaining the awkward middle bits where you're still trying to figure out what to do. But yeah, I'm trying to wonder whether or not that might just be the similar case with Devil May Cry 3, or if this is just sort of a case of, we need to make this game feel a little bit more substantial than in fact it is. I don't know really. I mean, I wouldn't exactly consider, like, Devil May Cry 1 or 2 short games, really, so... Yeah, I'm not really too sure what to say here. I mean, Devil May Cry 1 had inconsistent mission length. 2's mission length was fine. It was really just more the fact that, the game just wasn't really finished and was pretty much held together with a wing and a prayer, so... I really don't know what to say. But either way, I mean, in terms of its overall structure, I mean, there's not really too much wrong with it, it's just... It doesn't really do much interesting to really sort of inspire anything more in the design other than collect item, traverse across places you've already seen, except maybe with like 1 or 2 difference. Fuckloads of enemies in the way, because, you know, why make things expedient when you can pad out the runtime by having us go to places and continue to fight more? I don't know. I mean, again, it's not even really that the combat is tiresome at this stage, because, I mean, again, Devil May Cry being the game that it is, you can sort of varietize and, you know, mix and match your moves, you know, hence the style system and all that, so... There are ways to keep the combat feeling fresh, it's just that, yeah, I don't really know what to say. Well, there is something that does sort of bug me about it, in the sense that you're pretty much just doing a bunch of arduous tasks for very little payoff, really. a little bit less egregious in this level because you do at least get a, you know, more interesting boss fight than ones we've seen before, and, you know, a little bit more development with the characters, which, holy fuck, this... It's fucking snow in the desert compared to everything this game has delivered thus far, but... Yeah, I mean, it's just the getting to that point that's just kind of a wee bit, I don't know. It's, uninspired, maybe? I don't know what to say. But either way, we'll just rock out with Nevin, play guitar, and, rock our woes away, dude. I don't really have too much else to say in this aspect. I guess I could elaborate a little bit more on, Arkham, I suppose, but I kind of want to save that for the next part, because, some of the talking points in the trivia may be getting mighty tight. Then again, we are heavily approaching towards endgame territory. Not quite there yet, but we will be soon. Brew ha 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 ha. There we go. Electric bats, destroy them all. Whoopee. Yeah, woohoo. Oh, that for a Devil Star. So yes, this was not where we needed to go. Even though I'm pretty sure that was also the similar area where we also had the earlier introduction of the knock the ball and chain thing. Which I guess might sort of play into the whole uninspired aspect. We're pretty much doing the same things we've done before, but more. You know, and again, a lot of my criticisms for that is only really reserved for, and again, I want to specify here, missions 14 through 16. Well, actually, no, missions 14 through 17, really. Because, I mean, again, the moment we actually get back to the top of the Tema Nigru and, you know, ascend to the area where, you know, Arkham is right now, that's when the game actually does pick up steam, and honestly where the most interesting parts of the ending of this game are, and, yeah, that's generally where a lot of the bitching will stop, so, yeah. One more part of bitching Solidus-Skully to go! Will your ears and brain survive? Will mine even survive? Find out next time. I say find out next time as I still have several fucking minutes of the video to go. Well, then again, if I was feeling like a complete and total asshole, I could completely skip over this. I mean, really, you're not missing much. You have, like, another curse to your wall. I guess this is pretty much meant to be their whole sort of like, oh fuck, well, this is pretty much the lead-up before the climax. Throw every enemy at the player again, just to say, like, a fucking goodbye or some shit. Because, you know, I was really missing the fucking Blood Goyle with its annoying fucking enemy dynamics. But I digest my dinner that I had before recording this part. But yeah, it's just combat, really. It's good combat, but I mean, again, there's nothing enthralling to say, really, about it. So again, I suppose, with the euphoria of combat letting me down, well, at least while I'm watching it, what else do I have to say? Well, I mean, again, if there is one thing I can say in terms of the whole Arkham Jester plot reveal, yeah, another PS2 technical limitation, apparently, was that there was initially meant to be more of an on-screen transformation between Arkham and Jester, because again, you'll notice that during the cutscenes that, you know, Arkham and Jester pretty much transform between cuts, whereas, yeah, he was initially meant to have his own transformation, although it does kind of make me wonder why that didn't come to pass, because, I mean, Dante and Verge will pretty much morph into their devil triggers pretty much by switching the model, but having, like, a red sort of set of demonic runes pretty much, you know, indicating their transformation with a bit of lightning, so kind of makes me wonder what exactly the deal was with Arkham's Jester transformation. I mean, was it a case of, was it a case where Arkham's model was physically gonna, like, morph and change into, you know, the Jester transformation that I suppose would have taken up a bit more processing power, or was it like a CG cutscene that they just couldn't fit into the game? I'm still wondering about that, because, I mean, again, if that's the case, then you do have a few pointless cutscenes he could have easily cut out of the game, as I pointed out with my sarcastic great scene guys, sort of malarkey, and, you know, maybe that could have made room for the Jester transformation? Or I guess maybe it might have been like an in-game kind of thing, where you would have seen, like, you know, his skin grow pale, his nose grow, and, you know, his outfit more from, you know, the sort of scholarly outfit Arkham has in this game to, you know, the clownish buffoon ensemble that he has as Jester. I don't know, it's a bit of a weird kind of thing, but it does also sort of bring me back to, well, I mean, a bit of a previous point. First of all, puzzle secret mission, and probably the most difficult one you'll face yet, so as you watch puzzle solving, yeah, it does actually bring me back to a bit of a... Well, I mean, a bit of a talking point I was actually talking about with Cursed Shibito in the comment section of the Devil May Cry 1 commentary, where, again, he brought up that, I think it was, what we were talking about was, like, the Sparta Devil Trigger, as part of the reason why Devil Sword Sparta in DMC1 doesn't have a Devil Trigger mode to itself, which I think has something to do with, like, certain datasets and, you know, move data that would have been just too much for the PS2 to handle, which is, a bit of an odd duck, but then again, I suppose since Dante does have, you know, fisticuffs ability, which could have technically filled in the vein of Ifrit, so, you know, you could have technically had punchy stuff in tandem with a few extra odds and sods here and there, and, you know, Alastor basically being like an upgraded Force Edge, therefore having the same sort of abilities and moveset, it technically would have derived from the same sort of pool of, you know, information and, you know, data usage. That I suppose maybe adding something a little bit extra just would have been a bit too much for the console to handle. The short and sweet of what I'm trying to get at here is that I'm guessing that maybe, you know, Alchem's whole Devil Trigger transformation, you know, into the Jester character probably would have been, I guess, maybe a bit too much for the console because of what sort of data that it would have to pull from here, there, and everywhere. Other than all, maybe they just didn't have the room for the cutscene in lieu of adding another scene where Dante goes jelly and jam time and does a flip and then goes woohoo and everybody is, you know, wringing out their spunked panties. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but perhaps in that inevitable Devil May Cry 3 remake. Although, then again, it seems like only Resident Evil seems to really get the remake treatment. Every other Capcom franchise is pretty much just sort of left there to kind of suck it, really. Well, I mean, I'll say this much, though. I mean, I will give Capcom this. They do at least seem to have one successful IP with the, you know, that Pragmata game, the space dad with a robot kid, or what have you, so there's that. Let some new Capcom devs take a stab at a new IP, and, well, I mean, it paid dividends for them, so, you know, good on Capcom and, you know, good on the younger members of staff getting their voices heard and, you know, getting the ability to make the games they want to create, so, yeah, just goes to show that letting fresh blood in really can make a bit of a difference. Not that I'd play the game, mind you, but, you know, due to lack of current generation consoles and not really doing too much in terms of PC video games and whatever, at least in this current generation, but, yeah, seems like an interesting title at the very least. By the way, to comment on what's going on screen, once again, yeah, we still have horsey chess pieces attacking Dante, but now we also have, what I think are meant to be the rooks. But yeah, basically they'll pretty much hop to and fro, try and escape from Dante and shoot laser beams out of their core. It's going to make chess a hell of a lot more interesting. But, you didn't hear that from me. In any case, so, yeah, they're pretty much more evasive and on the move and pretty much use their laser attack as pretty much a bit of a fuck you, get away from me kind of attack. Meanwhile, the main dish of the damage is going to be dished out by fucking Mr. Red and his talking demon fetus over there, so... yeah, that's, pretty much how these pieces are meant to work in tandem with one another. I do wonder if we'll be seeing all of these, pieces together for a final game. A game before I die of my mysterious cough illness. Cough cough, a chewy, Chewbacca. Well, I mean, at the very least it added a new enemy for me to talk about and something to fight, I suppose, so... yeah, its relative shortness and the fact that it introduces something, at least one tiny thing new to the table, and also has a boss fight at the end of it, does elevate this well above Mission 15 at the very least, so... yeah, no real complaints. Except for everything that I've complained about. Devil May Cry 3. No real complaints except for everything that I complain about. Oh god. Solidus-Skully handing out review quotes. That'd be fucking terrible if I did this. Either way though, we finally made tracks towards where we need to go. Although, I mean, again, there is still a bit of an area for us to descend and climb before we get to where we need to go, but, yes, where we would initially be fighting Cerberus has been destroyed. We can't leave here. Which, I mean, again, is kind of obvious if you've been outside at all, because, I mean, you saw all that debris and rubble pretty much covering the opening of the Temini Guru as we saw it before, so... yeah, not really anything too interesting to see. Oh, dearie me. By the way, yeah, something else I can comment on, finally, is, yeah, a new secondary theme for Dante's battles extravaganza, really. It's not really anything much better than what we've already seen at this point. I mean, again, it is pretty much more of a take on Devils Never Cry, which is pretty much the overarching theme of the game, but again, I wasn't really much of a fan of that song to begin with, so quite frankly, it's really just sort of pissing in the wind, so... yeah. I mean, it's okay, I do like it a little bit better than Taste of Blood, but... yeah, I mean, give me Public Enemy, give me Locked and Loaded, fire away, shoot the works... I don't know. I mean, even Subhuman, give me that any day of the week as opposed to any of this shite. There is nothing. I try to ascend, but instead, I descend with a rainstorm of bullets. Delicious, tasty bullets. With a vital star. But yeah, let's move onwards towards our boss fight, of which we have no choice.
What's wrong? You tired? Then stand back. I'll take care of this.
No, you stand back!
I told you, you can't do it. Don't you get it? This is not a human's job.
You're the one who doesn't get it! It's not something you can reason with. It has nothing to do with me being a human and you being a demon. I'm driven by the inability to forgive him! My soul is screaming, demanding me to kill him! That's enough motivation to keep me going. Besides, this is my family matter. You should stay out of it.
Okay, lady. I get the picture now, but I can't just sit back and watch either. I'm pretty pissed at him too, you know. Now, get out of my way, or there'll be some consequences.
Fair enough. I wasn't planning on letting any demons live anyway. Not even one.
Oh, lady. My dear sweet lady. By the way, if you're wondering what the hell happened to Lady's clothes in between cuts, yeah, this is what happens if you select the Devil May Cry 1 outfit, where Lady pretty much ends up getting like a snazzy sort of white pantsuit ensemble, which is kind of an outfit that she would sort of take into Devil May Cry 4, albeit swapping the pants for shorts or whatever, but yeah, that's pretty much her attire for this whole sort of thing. In the meantime, though, to kind of discuss the boss battle, Lady pretty much showcases exactly how she sort of hunts demons. Again, she doesn't exactly have the strength, although, by God, she can tank some bullets and shoot them out of the air. Obviously, she's been taking gun lessons from the Riviera Kid. But, yeah, a lot of Lady's tactics in terms of humans fighting demons is pretty much just a lot of hit and run, utilizing, you know, Kalina Ann, her missile launcher, to pretty much blast you away. And of course, just sort of pipping the enemy with bullets. And she also has a few grenades to her name, so again, her moveset is pretty much just sort of I mean, again, I wouldn't exactly say it's spray and pray, although there is a fair bit of that in her moveset, so... yeah, keep on the move, shoot, dodge, and drop explosives. That's pretty much how she fights, and... I mean, I'll give her this, it does work, so... here we go. But again, it's generally around about this point where the plot does sort of start to win me over at least a little bit more, but again, my biggest issue with Devil May Cry 3 is that scenes like this should have been the entire game, not just, you know, the tail end of it, right around the point where it doesn't really fucking matter and you're meant to be building up the climax, so... again, I don't know what that fucking tells you. But yeah, either way, like, I mean, again, if you get too close to Lady, she will pretty much shoot you away if you try and go at it with a sword too much, so, guns are pretty much the way to go. She will try and set up traps for you to blow you to smithereens, but yeah, on the roll, pretty interesting fights. And again, a bit of a showcase about how Dante and Lady become friends / lovers, depending on how you want to read into that. I don't know, the game kind of plays a little bit coy as a bit of a will they, won't they kind of thing, but, I don't know. Lovers, good friends, friends with benefits at the very least, or at least that's sort of how I kind of read into their relationship. I mean, I can't imagine Dante and Lady sort of starting a family or doing anything of the sort, since they seem to be very emotionally damaged people, even much later on in the series, but then again, who knows? I mean, after all, in DMC1, Dante did say, "Goodbye, Mundus, by the way, give your regards to my son," so who knows, perhaps Dante Jr. and possibly Lady Jr. will pick up the slack and kill Mundus, as is pretty much most fans' sort of ideals of what a Devil May Cry 6 might be, if that isn't going to be Nero's game. Which, I mean, it very well could be, but who knows really. Either way, we've got an emotional cutscene that actually kind of works, once in a rare blue moon, so enjoy the cutscene. I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and I'll catch you later.
I'll take care of him.
Why do you care so much?
This whole business started with my father sealing the entrance between the two worlds. And now, my brother's trying to break that spell and turn everything into Demonville. This is my family matter, too. Quite frankly, at first, I didn't give a damn. But because of you, I know what's important now. I know what I need to do.
Wait.
Trust me, I'll make things right for you. That's what my soul is telling me to do.
Use this.
How much is it gonna cost me?
You can give me your name.
Dante.
Dante. Please. Free my father.
I will.